I've been artist in residence with Art on the Underground for 4 months, and it's been a very intense 4 months because I've been researching not just the history of Southwark Station, but also the history of Art on the Underground. I just gathered together lots of imagery, photographs, paintings, drawings, that all helped me to chart a course through all the sort of various archives that I've been visiting. They're really important because they're always on the periphery of your vision. The invitation from the curators at Art on the Underground was initially to design a cover of the tube map. I have now created a poster that will be in every underground station. I've also created 85 metres of photomontage that will be displayed as billboards that wrap around Southwark Station. I've also been commissioned to make a site-specific performance.
This one is made at the Chatsworth's house, and me and Linder designed it.
The imagery is in flux. There will be further collaging over 12 months. If we look at the title, first of all, The Bower of Bliss, it really is a very sort of poetic euphemism for birthplace, for womb, for place of origin. It's an experiment to see if a station, in some way, can become a safe place, can become a bower of bliss. As soon as you descend down the first escalator at Southwark Station, you're virtually in Londinium. By the second escalator, you're definitely in Roman London. My research is to do with that, a kind of vertical history of the station. I like the idea of having lots and lots of watches which are all broken. This idea that somehow time is broken, because yes, you do have timekeeping. We want the tubes to run on time. But like I say, within minutes of being at Southwark Station, you're on parallel with Roman London. You may be in 2018, 2019, but actually your feet are touching earth that's been walked upon over centuries. Watches are scattered throughout the imagery on the billboards, and they're all broken. When Art on the Underground invited me to be artist in residence, they provided me this TfL meeting room. It's been my home for 4 months. I look out at Southwark Station, so I'm looking out at the very, very site upon which I'm working. Hiya, are you redoing it? The way I interpret being an artist in residence is that I reside in situ. So it's very much making work that responds to the present day environment, the present day political climate, and also the history of the ground upon which we stand. Southwark, many, many centuries ago, was a site of pilgrimage. And so I like the idea that this daily pilgrimage when one is going to the workplace or travelling. Hopefully the billboards will encourage people to, to walk around the station, because this area is quite neglected. I like the idea that suddenly it gets animated for the first time. So on the billboards there are 3 very important depictions of women, 2 of which are from the Windrush generation. You get the juxtaposition right away of, again, women who are portrayed purely for their looks, and women who are portrayed in the midst of labour, in the midst of employment. A lot of the women on the billboards actually work for TfL, and other friends that I've invited will be part of the performance. So here we have a conductor. At the front of the station we have a porter, and to the further along we have a driver. And I really like that idea, which is very much echoed in the choreography, very graphically, of women conducting, driving, carrying, how one carries oneself in the world, how one carries out one's affairs. So Transport for London really encouraged women from very, very early on to participate, to be trained. So it was really promoting independence for women. So there's over a century of women forming a lineage of which I now take my part. 2018 has been the 100-year anniversary of the Act of Representation, and a lot of it, as we know, is to do with speaking up, with being heard. So I did have some idea the tube map would be very, very much focused around some sort of representation of the voice. At midnight, in quite a fairy tale way, and I'm working with dancers, costume designers, choreographers, musicians, and today is about the preparation for that performance.
I've written quite a lot of stuff that I'll be playing on a computer, and then I'm playing double bass. A lot of what Kenichi's playing is being fed into the computer. I'm sort of processing it.
We have here a close-up of Alex Balashenko's Blue Glass Wall from inside Southwark Station. Alex Balashenko's starting point for that was one specific illustration made by Karl Friedrich Schinkel in 1815, and the illustration showed the arrival of the Night Queen in Mozart's The Magic Flute. So for the performance, I like the idea to make it plural. We have the arrival of the Night Queens, and all playing with different forms of aristocracy and monarchy, and how democratic one can make that. There's not one garment I can hold up and say, this is the costume. The costumes themselves within the performance will be built upon the dancers. Rather like time, nothing is fixed. I like that fluidity, I like that flexibility.
Usually I'm designing collections that are for shows, but when you work with Linder, she's got a specific character in mind for each dancer. So you design for the role of the character. So each one's completely individual, but they all work together. We're trying to build and add as we go and see how you move. It's like a process of how they're going to dance.
For Art in the Underground, I have brought together virtually every aspect of my practice. So it feels like a period of great advance. Everything is at play. It's a very, very exciting moment.